Today we have ticket number 12027 and it's an Asus laptop motherboard that needs the DC jack replacing. Unfortunately, it does look like it's been mullered and I'm going to show you that under the scope. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that somebody has worked on this before for obvious reasons. If we first of all even just look at this pin here, it's not touching anything, it's not soldered down. I don't know if the pad is still here, the ground legs as well. I don't know what solder this is. It looks like cement. But yeah, this is not looking good. That's a bit of pad there from God knows where, I think underneath. If I flip it over as well, I think the way that somebody's actually tried to solder this is by sticking down the soldering iron. And the reason I think that is because they have completely burnt the top of this Ethernet port here. And if we get all close and personal down here, you can see, look, this just, oh no, this is going to be awful. It's going to be horrendous. All right. I'm going to apply some, look, you can see that again. The Ethernet port is probably going to need to be strapped down properly. All right, let's take the port off and see what type of damage we have in the area. I think my method for this is going to be just a load of flux, because this definitely isn't factory solder anyway. And I'm hoping, actually we could, let's apply leaded solder just to make sure. I don't want to rip any extra pads that I don't need to. Just apply some solder. Okay. All right, now it's got leaded solder. I'm just going to apply some heat, and this port should just drop out. Should be in the keyword here. So we get our heat gun on, heat around the area. The customer has provided us with the port as well, so I need to check and make sure that it's definitely going to be a compatible port. Any second now, this should drop out. There we go. Whilst the area is hot, I'm going to give it a clean, so I can see what kind of a mess we have here. Okay, now I can see a little bit clearer. I'm just going to add some more flux and wick away what I can to see even more. Okay, getting there. Okay. Yeesh. Okay, so that can come off. I mean, we still have ground around it, and these are just anchoring points. So as long as we've got the two top ones, we should be okay. But you can see it's just breaking away here. Wow. Okay. Again, another little clean. One thing is for sure, this port isn't going to be as sturdy as what it once was. Let's just turn it over now and see what the other side is like. Also, how are we looking? Wow. I'm actually impressed with how this has turned out. Let's put some more flux on. Again, I'm just going to try and melt what I can away. Wow. It's not going to have anything to cling on to, is it? Just trying to give it a clean. Everything's just sticking to everything. Because this is actual PCB and not the copper. They must have just, I don't know what's happened. I don't know whether they've held the heat on for too long and that's what's completely destroyed the pads. I'm going to go ahead and assume so. Unless they were jiggling the port around and stuff when they were doing it. Well, I'm going to quickly, no, actually, let me put the port back on first. So like I said, the customer actually provided us with the port. Okay, is that just going to sit down in there without any issues? That's the question. It is struggling. Let me turn it over, just to understand why it's struggling to go in. Is it that bit of solder there on that leg? Yes, it is. Okay, fine. So let me just clear out that solder. Just over there on the right. Tiny bit of flux. Solder braid. Come on. A little bit of patience. Nearly there. Hanging on for dear life. There we go. I think it should be good. Right. Does this port go on now? Yes, it does. Okay. And it actually pushes through by quite a bit. So we should be okay here. So what we'll do is I'll put a flux on now. And I'm also going to put some solder on my iron. And again, I'll push this connector up through the holes. Make sure it's nice and secure. And I'll start with here. There we go. Okay. Now it's in place. Now I can start feeding solder. And lots of it. I think that's probably as solid as what we're going to be able to get it. Just give it all a nice clean on this side. And then I'll see if there's anything that I can do perhaps on the other side to make it a little bit more solid. There we go. Final once over with a brush. Okay, let me turn it over. Check and make sure all good. Yep, fine. I do just want to try and get the iron down there. And hopefully not make the mistake that they did, but just apply some solder onto this Ethernet port that seems to be a little bit loose. A little bit of flux. And just secure it in place a little bit more if possible. Might not be able to, but give it a go. No, there's nothing to actually connect it to, and it's just going to be a ground leg. So what I'm actually going to do is put a bunch of solder between there and this port here on this ground leg. There we go. That's offered it a bit more of a stable connection than what it was previously. Good. That's as best as I could really do. But again, that's a little bit more stable than what it was. A lot more stable than what it was, should I say. And I'll quickly just go over the pads this side. Just to make sure this is all good. Starting with the one at the back. Nice. And just over here as well. There we go. Okay. I think that's the best job that I'm going to be able to do. It was a lot better than what it was previously. This one has a bit of an egg dome there. So let me just sort it out. Let's put the iron on it very quick. That's gone a bit too far there. Right, so I think we're all good. Now we'll give it a test. I'll be back with you in a second. And there we have it. As you just saw, everything seems to be working fine. We get the LED lights. When we reassembled the laptop, everything was working fine. So it's another happy customer. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.